Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel, All in My Plants. It's kind of where I'm at, what I do all the time, every day. So today I'm going to show you my favorite plants of February, plants that have been impressing me lately, or for whatever reason are just, we're vibing this month. I'm going to start with the biggest plant, that way I can get it out of this room and back upstairs where it belongs. So the first plant is Philodendron Burley Marks. I guess it's kind of all fitting in the screen. It's a good plant. I like this plant. It's one of my larger plants. I don't know if it's my largest. It might actually be right now. No, Bird of Paradise is my largest. But anyway, I like this plant. Am I beating the microphone to death? I like this plant. I bought it fairly small. Oh, it's hitting the ceiling. I bought it fairly small, but it's actually a good grower. Actually, I'm going to set this down and put some B-roll in. Okay. So, it's a great plant. It grows fast. It's very chaotic. I'll put in some of like the stems, the way it grows. It's kind of bizarre. It just does what it wants. It grows from all over the place. It's growth points on growth points on growth points. And I'm told it's a climber, but it doesn't, like, the pole has been in there for almost a year and it hasn't attached, but it does have some aerial roots. But I find it's not as eager to put out aerial roots as some of my other philodendron. Nevertheless, I love it. It's one of my favorite plants. Not in any particular order, but it is one of my favorite plants because it's a consistently good grower. It does get pests like nobody's business, but it doesn't take too much of a hit from it. The leaves might get damaged a little bit, but overall, it's a trooper. So that's my first one. The second one I'm going to show you is another larger plant. It's not as large as the Burley Marks, but it's another one with a pole. So this is Sangonium Podophylum albo variegata. It's got some white leaves. I keep chopping it, trying to save it from itself, but I love this plant. Once you get it started on a pole, it usually, down here, it'll kind of grab on its own after a while. Like, you don't have to encourage it but so long. The taller piece here has needed re-encouraging because I chop it and chop it and chop it, trying to stop it from putting out all white leaves, which I just chopped this. I think it put out, what, one kind of not white leaf, and then it instantly put out another white leaf. So I'm gonna chop it back even further. And that's how I end up with so much of this plant. But anyway, I think one of my favorite things about this plant is that I got it in a trade 3 or 4 years ago, and I can't remember what all the lady sent me, but it all came as mush, and it was basically a node, and I just kind of threw it in some moss and forgot about it. Here we are. So I think that's one thing that I love about this plant so much, that and you never know exactly what the leaves are going to look like. Some of these leaves are starting to get even more loby, like different sections, more sectoral. I don't know how to explain it. I can't find one. But just from where they're a more mature form, here's a green one. I don't know if we'll be able to see that or not. Maybe I'll zoom in on that and we'll see it. This one's kind of also doing it. But anyway, so I love this plant. It's a consistently good grower. I hear that they're pesty for some people. I don't have too much problem with that. Not out or in. I say that now, and it might actually have spider mites. There's no systemic or anything in this plant. It's just a chunky aeroid mix. But anyway, we'll burn that bridge later. Ooh, ceiling. This might actually be the first plant that I ever ordered in the mail. And I think I got it from Hertz Gardens. I'm not 100% sure. But it's rattlesnake calathea. I don't know if there's another name for it. I'll Google it, and if there is, I'll put it down here. But it's the best. Out of all the calathea, maranta, tenanthe that I have, this has been the easiest. I still wouldn't necessarily call it a beginner plant, but It is the easiest of the Calathea maranta family, you know, the easiest one, at least that I found. I love the colors in there. It's very pretty. It does get some crispy edges every once in a while, but overall not bad. I water it with tap water. I fertilize these kind of lighter than I do some of my other plants for the most part, because I find that they're more sensitive to things building up in the soil and getting, you know, crispy edges from that as well. But yeah, this is the first one I ever ordered in the mail. It survived. It came to me in like February, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure. I had traded before, but I'd never actually ordered one to be shipped to me online, and I love it. It like I said, it's the easiest one I own, and it's beautiful. Like, the markings on that are just incredible. It's a beautiful plant. So yeah, that would be number 3. Who's next? We'll do this one right here since it's right here. This is another one. I think I got this in a trade. Or maybe I bought it, I can't remember. But long, long ago, when you couldn't buy these pretty much anywhere, I say long, long ago, a few years ago, I got a couple, it was just a couple cuttings of this, and it is ZZ Raven. And I mean, I guess the green is new growth in there, and it eventually fades to black. This is a super easy plant. This plant, I hear a lot of people are like, oh, low light, keep it kind of dry. I give mine very high light. In the summertime, it goes out in the greenhouse, in one of the sunnier locations in the greenhouse. I water the heck out of it, and it grows pretty, I mean, constantly. Because like I said, I started a few years ago with just maybe 2 pieces in here. I can't remember. Well, not in this pot. It's been up potted quite a few times. But I love it. It's a consistent grower. It consistently looks great. It is a dust magnet. I don't know if it's that it's black or what, but every little thing shows up on there. And this is one that I clean at least once a week, and it sits next to my dishwasher. So I'm standing there and I'm constantly doing what I'm doing now, like just kind of trying to rub some of the dust off the leaves. That, and I actually take, you know, a soapy rag to it, a soapy cloth. But yeah, it collects dust and spider webs like nobody's business. My green one did too. It just wasn't as obvious on the green one, which I killed in the greenhouse last month. Actually, it might have been December. But anyway, it's a good plant. This is another one I really love. This is Philodendron Jose Bono. I guess I'm saying that right. I guarantee nothing. I love this plant because it does grow fast. I bought this on Etsy probably not even a year ago, I don't think. I don't know. It needs to be staked better. It's a little floppy in the pot there. It's grown fast. Well, once it got established, it's grown fast. The leaves are beautiful. I've never had a pest on this one, you know, yet. I just really appreciate the variety you get on this one plant. And it's been a good grower. Like I said, it doesn't give me any trouble except for this wobbly stick. That's my own fault. And I think it is sizing up fairly nicely. I think it'll do better when I get it on a more sturdy support system there. But anyway, I love this plant. I got it before the prices went haywire here lately, at least in my area. I don't see them for sale very often. When I do, they're kind of insanely priced. But I mean, you know, who am I to say? I think I got a good price on this one. But it's pretty, it's beautiful. I love it. Look at that. I hope this is like showing how pretty it is. But anyway, easy plant. I have overwatered it, I have underwatered it, and it's just kept right on knocking along. So this is a Hoya. If you saw my, I don't know which plant haul, I think birthday plant haul, this was in there. It's Hoya, it says bilobata, but I think it's Bertoniae affinity. I'm not sure. I'm falling in love with this plant. Like, I liked it when I got it, don't get me wrong. I was like, oh, that's a beautiful plant. I think it needs to come home with me. It needs to live in my plant room until it can go outside for summer. But when I bought it, I didn't even notice it, but these leaves they're fuzzy, top and bottom. Very lightly fuzzy. So I'm kind of loving that, and it has it's continuing with the new growth quite well. You can see some on that side perhaps, and there's a few on the top there. I did try to clean the free bird poop off. I left the damaged leaves because they're not hurting my feelings, and I think they're still contributing to the plant's well-being overall. So I just like this one a lot. I don't know, I'm debating if I want to try to trellis this, or do I just want to let it cascade majestically from this pot. For now, we're going to let it cascade as majestically as it can. But I love this one. Definitely a new favorite. I find myself like I gotta mess with it all the time, like touching it and staring at it and checking it out, and it finally doesn't feel like a cob anymore, like a blob of mud or whatever. It's dried out quite a bit, and I might actually have to water it finally. Haven't watered it yet. Soon. Okay, and then this is the next one, which it is newly on a pole here. I don't use moss poles. I think I might have mentioned that for various reasons. If you want me to get into it, I will, but for now, I just don't. Philodendron Bloody Mary, I believe is what this one is. The party back there. It's really pretty. I really love this plant. I have a lot of it. I actually meant to put 2 in this pot and go up the pole because it, you know, it's kind of sparse maybe, but man, it's pretty. It is beautiful. Like that color, so dark. And I like that even on the older leaves, which that one's kind of curly, but it still has that reddish color. Party on the back, right? And it's got a new growth point coming here. This plant, it's another one of those ones that when I first picked it up, I was like, hey, that's really unique and cool. I would like to add some more color to my collection. I'm gonna grab it. And then I grabbed it. It was in a hanging basket when I grabbed it, and I was like, you know, it didn't ring my bell. But eventually the pieces started to outgrow, like they looked ridiculous in a hanging basket to me. So I finally started like separating them out, and I love this plant now. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites pretty consistently. The leaves don't really get stuck, you know, they don't do the inchworm thing. It's a good plant. It has been in the cold, it has been in the heat, it has been in 0 humidity. I say 0, like 17%. It's been in 100% at like anything I throw at this plant, it seems like it can take it. That doesn't mean I try to torture this plant. Just life happens, and sometimes the plant catches the brunt of my neglect. And this one takes it fairly well. I don't know if this one's ever had thrips. I think I have seen spider mites, but thrips haven't been too much of an issue with this. It is recently potted into systemics, systemics are in the pot with it. Hopefully we won't have too much problems with it in the future, but I love this plant. It's so pretty. I feel like that's how I describe every plant. It's so pretty. I love this plant, but it's true. I do. It's a good plant. So, next on the list, I don't know if I can get it back in there now that I got it out. Who was next? That sounds like a leaf cracking. This one is just a wee one right now. It's a Monstera siltepecana. I haven't had this long, but I find it to be one of the easier, like viney kinds of Monstera, like as far as Adansonii, Standeliana. Siltepecana is just super easy. It roots like nobody's business. I got it from a cutting. The original plant's in a different room, but I got this from a cutting, and I just I rooted those cuttings, and these are all cuttings from that, and there's more somewhere. It's everywhere, and it's growing in some of my terrariums. It does really, really well. I have like a kind of gnarly looking leaf. This needs water. This is dry, but I mean, It's a really pretty plant. Really easy. I don't even bother with trying to root it in water or moss anymore. I just put it directly into soil. It gets no special humidity, no special treatment. I'm lucky if I can get the humidity in this room in general to 40 or 50%. Lucky if I can. But this plant actually lived in my dining room about 3 feet above and 5 feet in front of a pellet stove. So it's a trooper. But anyway, so I want to get this on a pole. I think I want to put a couple pieces so that they're growing up maybe my wall or a pole. I'm not sure. I'm excited to see how it does. This is so dusty. Can you see the dust? That's life with a pellet stove and a bunch of birds. But anyway, it's a good plant. It's a beautiful plant. I'm excited to see how this plant progresses throughout its lifespan. So pretty. Okay, and I can't remember when I got this one. I haven't had it long. It just says hanging basket. But this is Mistletoe Cactus, some kind of Ripsalis. I have to look up the name and I will put it on the screen. But I haven't watered this since I got it either. Maybe I should do that. Once again, it was very wet, so I've kind of just been letting it dry out a bit. But it just looks so dainty and grassy and unusual. I like Ripsalis. I have one other, I think it's Ripsalis pilocarpa, maybe? One other Ripsalis somewhere. Somewhere being the operative word. And I found that one very easy to grow, so when I saw this one, I had to grab it. 'Cause look how pretty. It's so nice. It's like, it reminds me of little teeny skinny pickles or something. I kind of want to bite it. Does that make any sense? You ever look at a plant and just go, man, I really want to chew on that. Like, I can see why pets and children get in trouble sometimes with plants, because some of them just look like they should be in your mouth. Like, don't put plants in your mouth. Like, other than like cucumbers and stuff. But is it just me? It's so pretty. Didn't I have another one? Ooh. Oh my gosh, okay. So this one here is Philodendron bipennifolium, which has also become one of my larger philodendron. It was just a couple leaves in a pot when I got it, of these little kind of elongated leaves. But it's maturing quite well-ish, you know. This one here, thrips love it. But it's doing really, really well, and it's a beautiful plant. This plant, even though thrips really want to feast upon it, look, there's a new growth that hasn't even unfurled and a new one right behind. So that's cool, right? It doesn't complain too much. It gets stuck a little bit. That's where that little hole came from. But with pests and katydids and, you know, all kinds of things trying to eat it all the time, it's just doing great. Why did I water this before this? Why? It's so heavy. It's got like a lot of cuttings in there, and some of it has just volunteered to grow. Like, I didn't ask it to, it just did. It's just a really pretty plant. It's a consistent grower. It doesn't stick too bad. And lately I've just been loving the way that these leaves are looking much more mature. The first time one popped out that kind of looked mature, I think it might have been this one. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I really love this plant. It's one I did not appreciate as much as it deserved either, because, I mean, it was beautiful when I bought it, but it has the potential to be even more beautiful if I just pay attention to it, as it's starting to look now. It needs a new pole, because this little thing in here is really flimsy. This one has not grabbed on. It's just appreciating the support enough to kind of mature a little bit. So I would like to get it on a pole or a plank or something, maybe grow it up the wall. I don't know. I think this is going to be a pole or a plank kind of kid. So I love this plant. And I believe that is all 10 of my favorite plants. Current favorites. They're all my favorite plant. It's so hard to like just pick 10 and go, hey, these are the guys I'm really loving right now, because there's so many. So many. Like, I mean, I want to show you every plant I have. But I guess that would take a while. Maybe eventually we'll get through them all. One favorite at a time. So I guess that's what I have for you today. It's kind of a shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed watching nonetheless. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye.